Hello again. In previous lessons, we focused on understanding the various charts available within Tableau and how to customize them. In this lesson, we will cover dual layer charts. After this lesson, you will be able to create a dual layer chart using Tableau, explain how to synchronize axes in a dual layer chart, and be able to discuss the appropriate situation in which to use these types of charts. Let's begin by discussing a dual line chart. A dual line chart is also referred to as a dual axis chart. It is an extension of the line chart with one notable exception. It allows more than one measure to be represented with two different axis ranges. This is done by assigning the right and left sides of the vertical axis with different measures. In this way, you can compare two different measures. However, be careful with this. Even though you can use any measure in this chart type, make sure that there is a meaningful relationship between the two. In other words, keep in mind the story you want to tell with your visualization. Using our Superstore dataset, first, let's begin by dragging our order date dimension to the columns bar. Then, let's change the date to show quarters instead of years. You do this by clicking on the arrow on the order date field, then choosing quarter. Next, let's drag our profit measure onto the row bar. Now, we are able to see profit for each quarter since 2011. Next, let's drag our sales measure onto the row bar also. That way, we have a split graph showing the profits for each quarter and the total sales for each quarter since 2011. To combine these charts, let's click on our Show Me Charts options. Then, let's click on the dual line chart. Now our charts are combined, and we can see the left vertical axis shows us profit, while the right vertical axis shows us sales. The horizontal axis shows us our order date. Now we can compare total profits and total sales across quarters since 2011. If we want to take this one step further, we do have the option to synchronize our axes. We can do this by right-clicking on the right vertical axis and choosing Synchronize Axes. Now we can make the comparison between the measures on the same scale. Remember that you still have all of the options to customize your chart. We can click on either of the charts in the Marks card and make any changes to the colors, shapes, or sizes that we want. That wraps up our lesson on creating dual line charts in Tableau. After this lesson, you should now be able to create a dual axis chart using Tableau, explain how to synchronize axes in a dual axis chart, and discuss the appropriate situation in which to use a dual axis chart. In part 4 of this module, we will show how to use Tableau's tooltip and explain why it is important. Good luck!